Good morning, everybody. We're here talking about energy this week. As you know, Economic Development Week began on October 29th, and we decided to extend it beyond Economic Development Week and pay tribute to all of the industry sectors that contribute to economic development. So for the next 10 weeks, we'll be interviewing some of our members who play a key role in economic development, and this week is Energy Week. And we have with us Stuart Page, who is the Manager of Economic Development at BGE, and Kathy Magruder, who is the Executive Director of the Maryland Clean Energy Center. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and you guys can just answer them as I ask, and feel free to answer them together if I ask you something that you both have a response to. Thanks for being here. Stuart, I'm going to start with you and ask you, in your role as Manager of Economic Development, why does a utility have an Economic Development Manager?
Well, good morning, Pam. Thanks for having me this morning. And so at BGE, we're Maryland's largest natural gas and electric utility. And, we're literally connected to the over 1 million electric customers and almost 700,000 gas customers that we serve in Central Maryland. And so, energy infrastructure is really a core foundation of a strong economy. I think we could probably all agree on that, particularly in the increasingly digital age we find ourselves in. We're just more and more reliant on energy for our day-to-day needs as residents and businesses. And so we're really uniquely positioned as a company. We take seriously, our role as an energy provider and a good corporate and community partner to not only deliver safe and reliable service, but ensuring more broadly the vibrancy of the residents, the businesses, and the communities that we serve. And so economic development plays a key role in serving that mission, and that's really what I do.
Great, thank you. Kathy, tell us a little bit about the Maryland Clean Energy Center.
Good morning, Pam. Thanks for having me this morning. So Maryland Clean Energy Center, we call MCEC for short, is an instrumentality of the state of Maryland, which means that we were created by the General Assembly with a very specific mission to achieve, and that is to advance the adoption of clean energy and energy efficiency products, services, and technologies across the state in a way that creates jobs and helps reduce the environmental footprint of the consumption of energy by consumers in our state. As an instrumentality of state, we're very focused on access to capital for our consumer audience to try to deploy those measures.
Great, thank you. Now, as in your roles, Stuart, you as manager of BGE's Economic Development Program and Kathy as executive director, how are you working with the economic development community? Do you want to start, Stuart?
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, Pam, my title is Manager of Economic Development. I do work with Allison Black, our Senior Manager, Economic Development and State Affairs, and Randy Baines, Senior Economic Development Specialist. So we are the official economic development team at BGE, but you'll quickly find, working with us as a company that economic development is really a team sport. So we're one of a number of units within the company that really ultimately support economic and business and community development. So we have a workforce development team, we have a supplier diversity team, we have corporate social responsibility, and those areas all really contribute to what we're doing here. So our engagement with the community is ultimately broad and takes the form of many different avenues and many levels within our company. But a few that I can touch on are that ultimately we look to work with our economic development stakeholders to promote a healthy and friendly business climate. So as a utility, ultimately we want to be the best at what we do, deliver safe and reliable energy, but also look forward and make sure that we're able to meet the energy needs of companies tomorrow. And so we're also looking to do that by offering competitive rates and incentive programs and other business solutions and ultimately solutions for customers more broadly. And so we're always discussing those things with our partners to understand how we can best support their efforts in attracting new businesses to the state by supporting the expansion of existing businesses, tracking key projects, and in some cases, for an industry like data centers that has recently really exploded in Maryland, and also has very unique and large energy requirements. We've engaged in particular partnerships with some of our stakeholders to try to further the expansion of those companies in our territory. We also work with our partners to connect, as they work with us, connecting businesses and developers that need support from BGE. If typically there's a touch point with our team, but then there's typically a lot of other organizations within the company that need to support their project, their expansion to be successful. And so we act as a connector to bring in the right parties at BGE to serve their needs. And then, I mentioned data centers. That was one example of others that, we participate in the process of select business-focused legislation that we think will positively impact the broader economy. And the legislation that passes this year, earlier in the year, was just one example. And then, myself and many others at BGE, from our senior leadership on down, serve on, many boards and councils and committees of, MEDA and other economic development organizations to not only build those relationships, but, provide thought leadership to economic development more broadly. And then, we also directly contribute to a lot of organizations that are working to market the state as a great place to do business. So those are a few of the many ways in which we as a company interact with the community.
Thank you. Kathy, tell us about how you work with economic development.
So our economic development representatives across the state are looking out both for their community and their business community, their municipal community and their business community. So we look to provide information to them to help in both of those arenas. Business and commercial facility property owners are really concerned about affordability, reliability, and somewhat social responsibility for the environment and the community at large. So when they make investments to improve their energy spend, to reduce their energy consumption so that their costs go down, and to free up that capital that they might need for other investments, we're trying to figure out how we solve for that with them. Most recently, and with the help of MEDA, we were able to implement a program almost statewide called the Maryland PACE program. PACE stands for Property Assessed Clean Energy. And those loan programs are bringing capital from private providers into the marketplace at affordable rates where energy improvements can be made on the business, for the business, and the debt is carried as part of a tax lien so that the improvements are tied to the building, not necessarily the credit of the property owner. And some of these improvements are done for terms that extend beyond 10 years because they're big investments in HVAC or mechanical systems. So that's advantageous. And the tax lien makes the investment for otherwise unsecured loans attractive to the capital providers who come into the market. And we're pushing that program statewide. We currently have 17 counties in the state that have adopted the necessary enabling ordinance to offer this lending structure in their county. And we are making loans on a regular basis. I think we've done almost 19 million statewide, approaching 20 or 21. So we're trying to get those other counties who haven't quite onboarded yet to come on board and be part of the program. And we can work with the utility partners to get that message out to their commercial industrial consumers. The other piece of the puzzle that you asked about, we talk about bringing money to the table. MCEC does have bonding authority, and we can assist local governments to make those energy efficiency improvements on their buildings or properties with low cost capital through the bond market without them having to use up or providing technical assistance to allow them to make those investments in a effective and efficient way without using their personnel or redirecting their personnel's capacity to get that work done.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate both of you taking the time to be with us and share what you're doing with energy and connecting with the economic development community. So before we sign off, I want to ask both of you, tell us how the economic development community can work with you and how they should reach out to you. And you can give us your web address or your email address if you want, but and we can put that on the site as well. So share with us, Stuart, if I'm an economic developer and I'm listening to this, how do I reach out to Stuart Page?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, generally, I'd say the sooner the better. We like to be involved, early on in discussions, in the site selection phase. If there's established business kind of early in their plans for expansion, so that not only we can understand them fully, but we can assess, who is best at BGE to support it and ensure that we're a partner in the process. So I would just say, the sooner the better. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'm, again, one of many that support economic development, but I'm happy to be a point of contact. So, bge.com/economic development has a lot of information. My contact is stuart.page@bge.com. I'm sure there's probably someone that has it if you don't, so don't hesitate to reach out. But I would just say as well, in terms of, ways that folks can work with us, I'd just say that, as mentioned before, we're committed to playing an active role in economic development, and we're always looking for new and better ways to do that. So, if there's an organization out there that has an opportunity to partner, to work with us, if there's feedback they have for us, we always want to get better. We want to find new ways to make an impact. So always looking for those opportunities and happy to have those discussions. And then I would just say, economic development aside, we get a lot of, inquiries just about BGE matters broadly, and, happy to take those as well. If you don't know, who to go to at BGE, we can typically find you the right person or the right place. So again, don't hesitate to reach out. Happy to support it. And thanks again for having me.
Thank you, Stuart. Kathy?
Thanks, Pam. So we are happy to work with economic developers on a variety of projects. If you hear from a business owner in your community that they're struggling with energy costs or that they want to make some improvements on their property, then that's the right time to give us a call and see if we can't help bring various resources, whether it's utility incentives through the Empower program, the grants and loans from the Maryland Energy Administration, or the lending capital through MD PACE to the project. We will happily come out and bring a team of resource experts to a gathering of businesses in your community. When we're able to do that, we can do it virtually in the meantime, to talk about how they can take advantage of those resources in their community. We can be reached. Our website is www.mdcleanenergy.org. It's best to get us, if you want to get us by phone, at 301-314-6061 or at info@mdcleanenergy.org. We are working virtually these days, and we have been hosting a series of webinars to help inform and do some outreach and education. So keep your eye out for those. We'll be happy to include you. They are normally free. So thanks for having me today, and happy Economic Development Week.
Thank you both very much for joining us. We very much appreciate it.